Lismore is in the firing line again, and the next 24 hours will be critical, with fears the town will face another major flooding event. I spoke with Mayor Steve Krieg a short time ago. Steve, thank you for your time. It's always nice to talk to you, but I cannot believe that you're about to go through this again. What are you bracing for, and what have you been told to expect this time?
Yeah, g'day Tracy. So we've just had the upgrade from minor to moderate flooding to moderate to major flooding. It's just come through this afternoon from the SES and the Bureau. So basically we're praying for the best and preparing for the worst. And the worst at this time is that flood level of around the 9.5 metre mark, and which is still below our levee wall, but we said that 4 weeks ago. So at this stage, we're just hoping that our levee isn't breached, that our lower lying areas are well protected, and that we get through this weather event relatively unscathed.
So if you're going to hope for the best but prepare for the worst, does that mean that you start preparing in case the levee is going to be breached? And what does that mean exactly? What are you doing to get ready right now?
Yeah, so obviously you've seen the pictures from 4 weeks ago when our city was annihilated.
Sure.
So what we've done since then is we've installed mobile service centres. So things like Service New South Wales office, which was totally trashed, we've brought in a mobile Service New South Wales, mobile Centrelink, all of these infrastructure pieces, but basically on wheels. So they've basically all been moved out now. We've had 40 odd mobile homes brought in from the state government, which were in a caravan park, which we've had to relocate to higher ground. So all of those sorts of temporary infrastructure projects which have been helping flood victims and the business community have all been moved out of town at the moment.
Have people moved back into homes that were affected a few weeks ago? I know many homes were unlivable, but are there people who've moved back in who now have to move back out because they're about to be breached again?
Yeah, 100% right. I've talked to many people who basically out of necessity had nowhere else to go, so they've moved back into their homes and are working on repairing their homes. They're the people that I'm really feeling for at the moment, Tracy. They've lived through the hardest 4 weeks of their lives, literally ripping their lives and their livelihoods apart in their homes and putting them all on the street and starting the long and arduous process of rebuilding. And now to get the evacuation warning, it's not an order yet, but there's an evacuation warning that's just come out. It's really heartbreaking for the town and for the citizens and for those businesses that have managed to reopen. Our local fruit and veggie supplier, Farmer Charlie's, today was their first day of trade back in their shop, and they've had to cancel everything and start packing up again. It's just devastating news for the town.
How many people roughly are we talking about who are now moving out or preparing to move out?
Yeah, hard question. Obviously, people are a little bit nervous at the moment. So even if they're not in that flood-prone area, they're starting to find friends or family to go and stay the night with. But, you know, most people already are in alternate accommodation. So they're safe and dry at the moment, but there would be hundreds of people who have moved back to their home who are going through the process of moving out again.
It's incomprehensible, except obviously we're all staring at it and it's raining behind you now. There are also the people in the hills around Lismore who weren't flooded out, but they were cut off because their roads were impassable. You know, I know someone who was cut off for 3 weeks and couldn't get out. Are you already preparing for helicopter drops to get food and medicine into those people, or to get those people out if they need to be evacuated?
Yeah, so obviously we're in a bit better situation this time around. We've still got the ADF choppers in the area and the emergency services helicopters that are here on standby, as you say, for those people. You know, the weather forecast for the week is not real good. Like, they've forecast 200 to 300 mils of rain, which is going to fill our river systems up again. But they've also forecast gale force winds later in the week, which, because of the wetness of our soil, could see big trees and stuff coming down, landslips, all sorts of potential hazards that are built into this weather event that we're dealing with this week.
You're a resilient bunch. I guess Australians generally are a resilient bunch, but do you wonder how much people can cope with?
Oh, I call us stubborn bastards, to be honest with you, Tracy. We just don't, too lazy to move, to be honest with you. No, you know, it's just another kick in the guts, and you just got to take them and move on, you know. And fortunately, there's not a hell of a lot of stuff that can get damaged further after the last flood that we just experienced 4 weeks ago. So, you know, this is just another setback, and it's another hiccup in our cleanup and our rebuild. But, you know, we're a tough bunch in Lismore and in the region here, so we'll get up and we'll go again.
What about livestock? Had people moved livestock back again? And are they in danger this time around?
Yeah, so as I said, we're not expecting the massive river height that we got a month ago. Obviously, the farmers and in the outlying areas of Lismore have taken the precautions to move their livestock up into higher ground. You know, they're better looked after than most kids in some circumstances, so they've taken every precaution that they've had to take to protect the livestock.
All right, well, I hope it's not as bad as we're all thinking that it's going to be, because I don't think you deserve it again. But I know you're all ready for it, and I know you're all strong and tough. So thanks for your time, Steve.
Thanks, Tracy, and happy birthday to my beautiful wife and my daughter. So way to celebrate, eh?
Off you go and jam in a quick celebration before it all gets messy.
Thanks, Tracy.
Lismore Mayor Steve Krieg.